Hi everyone! Welcome back. Today we're going to work on upper back as well as some hip flexibility. So join me at the top of the mat. We'll warm up our bodies through some sun salutations and move on into our asana. Big toes to touch at the top of the mat. Go ahead and lift them up and spread them wide, placing them down one by one. Rock front to back, ball of the foot to the heel of the foot, until you find a nice equal spot directly over your arches. And then go ahead and shift from right foot to left foot, alternating left and right, until you can come to a balance point between the left and the right foot. Go ahead and lift the kneecap slightly, drop the tailbone down towards the earth. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale, give a slight squeeze at the bottom. Crown of the head reaches to the top of the sky, and the chin is perpendicular to the mat. On inhale, bring the hands up overhead, maybe gaze up at the thumbs, and exhale, dive over the hips for your first forward fold. You can be generous here with the knees in your first forward fold of the day. Release the crown of the head to the earth. Maybe even walk out or pedal out each foot. Just creating some movement here in the hamstrings. Letting them know that we're about to bring them a little bit more to life, using them, moving them. And then find some stillness wherever you are. Try to make that belly and thigh contact here, so keep those knees nice and bent to start with. Inhale, drag the fingertips up the shins. Crown of the head reaches towards the top of the room and the tailbone reaches back. Flat spine here. On exhale, placing the hands back down on the earth. Step back for high plank. Here we have two options for vinyasa. We can either knees, chest, and chin. On inhale, coming up into a baby cobra, pulling the shoulders back together, keeping the elbows nice and tight into the rib cage. Second option from high plank is lowering down into chaturanga. Just bend the elbows straight back, keep them pulled in towards the rib cage, coming halfway down. We're still in like a plank position. We're just halfway down now. On inhale, we'll roll over the tops of our feet, straighten the elbows, and pull our heart between our shoulders for upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Those are our two options. From here on out, I will refer to those as your vinyasa, choosing whichever one is right for you in your practice. Here in down dog, shift the hips high up towards the sky. Maybe even come up onto the tiptoes to get those hips nice and high. The spine is flat here, and the ears are in between the biceps. You may want to drag those heels down, keeping the hips right where they're at. The heels may reach the earth, they may not. Either way is okay. Each of our practice looks different. And then pull the low belly in and up to create a little more space there in the pelvis. On your next inhale, gaze between the hands and make your way to the top of the mat for halfway lift. Bringing those fingertips up the shin, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold, belly to thigh. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms come overhead, gaze up at the thumbs, and exhale, hands to heart center, closing out the first Surya Namaskar. Let's move into two more Surya Namaskar A's, and then we'll do one Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, arms up, palms together, look up, exhale, dive over the thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high plank. Stay on that exhale, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling either up dog or baby cobra. And exhale over the toes, shifting the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take a couple of breath cycles here. Find your routine, find your grounding, stability, be strong in the breath and strong in the movements. uniting each breath with each movement. And on inhale, gaze at the hands and step up to the top of the mat for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way up, palms together overhead, gaze at the thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center, and close out the pose. One more time, inhale, palms overhead, look up. Exhale, dive over the thighs, belly to thigh contact. Pull that low belly in and up. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, make your way back, high plank, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling through upward facing dog or baby cobra. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Keep the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. Nice and deep. Send the breath deep into the heels here so that there's a strong line of energy going from fingertips all the way up the shoulders, up the spine, down the hips, down the thighs, down through the calves and into the heels, driving towards the earth. On inhale, look between the hands and make your way to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms together, look up, and exhale, closing out Surya Namaskar A's, moving into Surya Namaskar B. On inhale, arms up, bend the knees, drop the hips, chair pose. Check in here in chair pose that the weight is in your heels. Look down and see if you can't see your toes. Nice, strong thighs. Inner thighs are engaging towards one another. Knees and ankles are pressing in towards one another. On exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the earth, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, make your way back. High plank, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pivot the right foot to a 45-degree angle and pull the left foot in between the hands. Bend into the left knee and on inhale, rise all the way up. Palms overhead. Pull that right hip forward and push the left hip back to keep everything nice and square towards the front of the room. Check in with the outer edge of the back foot. Make sure you're still pressing weight into that foot. Strong activation between right leg and left leg, and you're reaching up through the fingertips. On exhale, gaze down at the left foot, framing it with both hands. Pivot that right foot forward and pull the left foot back, high plank, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot pivots to a 45-degree. Right foot comes in between both hands. Bend into your right knee as you ride the inhale all the way up. Palms reach for the sky. Rather, fingertips reach for the sky. Keep a nice bend in that right knee. Let gravity sink your hips down. And just look in with yourself and pull that left hip forward. Push the right hip back. We want to see everything nice and square towards the front of the room. Weight is still shooting down through that outer edge of the back foot. On exhale, gaze down at that right foot, framing both hands around the foot. Pivot that back foot forward, right foot back to meet left, high plank. Lower down through your vinyasa. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Nice slow breathing here. Even inhales, even exhales. The body should be feeling quite a bit warmer than when we first began now. A little more mobility coming into the joints, into the muscles. Here, let's go ahead and just take a moment to start to shift our weight from one foot to the next foot, dipping the right hip. Hold it there for a moment. The right knee is bent. Straighten that right leg out. Bend into that left knee. Dip that left hip down. Hold it for just one more moment. Then straighten the left leg. Shift the hips up high. Pull those heels down. And then on inhale, gaze between the hands. Make your way to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Pull the low belly in and up to make nice belly thigh contact here. Inhale, bend the knees, drop the hips, arms up, chair pose. Remember to keep the weight in the heels. Look down, can you see your toes? On exhale, straighten the legs, bring the hand through the heart center. And close out the series. Maybe give a close to the eyes, just filling into the movement we just created. Filling into the warmth that is raging through our bodies right now. And go ahead and just walk out your feet for just a moment. Shifting the hips side to side, getting a little bit of movement going into those hips. Let's start to bring some undulations into our spine. So inhale the chest forward. Really squeeze those shoulder blades back. On exhale, start to round the shoulders forward into one another. Maybe even bring the elbows to touch. Inhale, heart high, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Even gaze up at the sky. Exhale, round the shoulders in towards one another. Inhale, heart through. Puff up high like you have helium attached to your heart, pulling you up towards the sky. And then exhale, round those shoulders in. Maybe let the elbows touch. One more time here. Inhaling the heart nice and open. And just hold it here. Maybe cactus the arms out. You can look up at the sky. Really feel the squeezing of the shoulder blades here. And then exhale, just come back to center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive over the thighs, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, make your way back, high plank. Lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling through up dog or baby cobra. Here in up dog or baby cobra, just take a couple of cycles of breath. Pull the heart through the shoulders wherever you're at. If you're in baby cobra, I'd like to see you try to drag the palms back, but they won't drag. Don't actually get them to drag. Just energetically move the palms back so that the heart can move through the shoulders. Keep pressing into the toenails. Press the hip points into the earth and allow that heart to raise just a little bit higher. Allow the heart to move forward just a little bit more. If you're an upward facing dog, you can move those shoulder blades back towards one another, really giving them a good squeeze here, and allow the crown of the head to reach towards the sky. Exhale, roll over the tops of the toes. Shift your weight up and back, downward facing dog. One cycle of breath here to regain your balance, to regain your grounding. And inhale, right foot up towards the sky. Try to get that big toe nice and high. Exhale, bend the knee and open the hips out towards the side of the room. Maybe give a little bit of ankle swirls here. Move it into the knee. Really bringing some lubrication into that right hip flexor here. Make those circles as wide as you would like or as tiny as you would like. You should also be feeling a slight side stretch here. On your next circle, go ahead and come to some stillness. Face everything back to the mat. Lift that right leg high. Exhale it in between the hands. Bend into the right knee. Keep those left toes nice and high. The left heel nice and high. And inhale, rise up, high lunge. Left hip still pulls forward, right hip back. We're still squaring everything towards the front of the mat. And just sink down into the hips here. Give a couple bounces. Inhale, nice and high. Exhale, allow your hips to sink a little lower towards the ground. And move at your own breath here, 5 times. And that's about 5. Stay nice and low. And this time, bring your arms to a cactus shape and puff the heart up towards the sky as you open your throat. Exhale, reach down, frame the right foot with both hands. Right foot back to meet left high plank, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg nice and high. Try to get that big toe up towards the sky. And then exhale, open the hips as you bend the knee. Allowing everything to face the side edge of the room. Maybe bring some ankle swirls in. And then moving into your knee circles. Nice wide knee circles or really small knee circles. It's really up to you. Whatever you feel like in your practice. And then come to some stillness. Face everything back to the mat as you straighten that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, pull the left foot in between the hands. Bend into the left knee and rise up, high lunge. Arms can come overhead if you would like, or you can keep them on your hips. Check in with the hips, make sure they're nice and square towards the front of the room. And then inhale, push up just a little bit higher, and exhale, allow gravity to sink the hips nice and low. Keep putting weight in that outer back heel. And do this about 5 times. Inhale, allow yourself to rise. Exhale, sink low. And then on your last one, allow yourself to sink down deep and cactus the arms out. Maybe lift the heart up towards the sky and open the throat. Exhale, frame the left foot with both hands. Left foot back to meet the right, high plank. Lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling up dog or baby cobra. And again, just holding here. One cycle of breath. Pull the heart between the shoulders wherever you're at. And exhale, roll over the toes. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. One cycle of breath here, allowing yourself to recenter. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale that knee in towards the heart. Pivot the right shin to a 45-degree angle and start to place the top of the foot, the shin, and the knee down on the earth. Walk that left foot back. Let your hips sink down deep here. Keep the right toes flexed to protect the right knee. And walk your hands in, lifting the heart as high as you can. Check in with the left hip. Make sure it's still pointing forward. We're not looking for an opening like this out to the side. We're looking for external rotation in this right hip, pointing everything towards the front of the mat. Stay nice and high. You may want to untuck those back toes, resting the top of the foot against the earth, and just cactus the arms open. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Imagine you have a small little pea that you're trying to hold in between your shoulder blades. And then open the heart, open the throat. And exhale, place the fingertips down on the mat and allow your spine to roll up towards the sky as you bend over your right shin. Inhale yourself up, straightening the arms, pulling the heart between the shoulders. Exhale, round out through the spine. Inhale, straighten the arms, pull the heart between the shoulders. And exhale, round out through the spine. Last time, lifting up, pulling the heart through the shoulders. You can stay here, or maybe you would like to bend the left knee and grab on the inside of that left foot with your left hand. Start to pull the left heel outside of the hip. This is going to bring a nice quad stretch here. We tend to forget that a lot of our back flexibility actually comes from our hip region. The more open we can get our hips, the more we can move into our heart openers. Go ahead and release that left foot back down to the mat. Press into the mat with both hands. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee up off the mat and glide that right knee up to the right armpit. Hold for one breath cycle. Strong core here. And exhale, back for high plank. Lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhaling through up dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. One cycle of breath, just getting down into the ground, Feeling the roots come from the heels and the hands. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, that left knee into the heart. Pivot the shin and the foot to a 45-degree angle, and then start to place the top of the foot and the shin down on the mat. Go ahead and walk that right foot back, adjusting as necessary until your hips can sink down nice and low. Keep the left foot flexed to protect the knee, and then walk yourself all the way up, as far up as you can go. Puff the heart nice and high here. You may want to untuck those back toes, resting the top of the foot against the ground. Check in with the right hip. Make sure you're still pulling that right hip forward and the left hip back here. Nice, strong inhale and exhale. And then cactus the arms open if this is in your practice. And lift the heart high, open the throat. On exhale, placing the fingertips down on the mat, round through the spine, allowing yourself to fold over the left shin. Elbows are bent here. Inhale, straighten the elbows. Allow your heart to move through the shoulders. Exhale, round through the spine, folding over the left thigh. Inhale, straighten the elbows, move the heart through the shoulders. Last time, exhaling, rounding through the spine. Inhale, straightening the arms, moving the heart through the shoulders. Coming up nice and high here. And again, if you'd like to go for that quad stretch, stretching into the right knee and reaching on the inside of the right foot with the right hand. Pull that foot to the outer edge of the left hip. It may reach there and it may not, and that is okay. Wherever you are is right where you're supposed to be. As much as you're pushing on the right foot, push the right foot against the hand. This is going to create a counter action, which is going to actually open those quads up just a little bit more. And then releasing that right foot down to the earth. Press into the earth with both hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and glide that left knee up to the left armpit, holding here for one breath cycle. And then reaching that left foot back to meet the right, high plank, lowering all the way down to the belly. Bring the fingertips to the outer edges of the mat. Elbows are nice and high up towards the sky. It kind of reminds me of like a spidery look here. Go ahead and center yourself, allowing the third eye to rest against the earth. Feel the shoulders starting to open here. Press the toenails into the ground. Press the hips into the ground. The knees should be lifted. Engage the inner thighs, and then on inhale, start to straighten the arms out as you lift the heart up. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. We're not opening our throat here yet. Move the heart forward. The height is not what we're looking for. We're really looking for a forward movement motion from our heart here. And then exhale, bend the elbows nice and high. Release the grip of the toenails from the earth. And then place the right cheek on the mat, maybe bringing the hands down. We're going to do that 5 more times. So setting it back up, third eye to the mat, fingertips outside of the mat. Elbows reaching towards the sky, push into the toenails. On inhale, lift your heart up and forward as you straighten your elbows. On exhale, start to bend the elbows and allow your heart to move down. Inhale, straighten the elbows, move the heart forward and up. Exhale, bend into the elbows, move the heart down. That's 2. Inhale, arms straight, heart up and forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, heart down. 3, inhale, heart up. Exhale, move your heart down. 4, one more time, last time. Hold here at the top, pull the heart forward. Scoop the shoulder blades under the heart as though they're an ice cream scoop. And you're trying to really get a big, nice scoop here. Just move those shoulder blades down and towards one another. Exhale, start to move the heart down, bend the elbows. This time resting the left cheek against the earth. Let the hands fall flat, the elbows fall flat. Bring the chin to the center of the mat and straighten that left arm directly out to the side. Go ahead and lift up on that right foot and bring it back behind you, opening out the shoulder here. If you'd like to get a little more creative, you can go ahead and grab the right big toe with the peace fingers and the thumb and keep that right leg nice and straight, pulling the toes down towards the head. If you'd like to take this shoulder stretch even further, you can go ahead and bend into the elbow. One more cycle of breath here. And wherever you're at, releasing back to the center of the mat, pulling yourself onto your belly. Chin faces the mat, this time bringing the right hand out to your side. And lift that left foot up and back behind you here, rolling over your shoulder. I love this stretch, it feels so good. Going for the more creative version, you can straighten that left leg out and grab a hold of the big toe with the peace fingers and the thumb. Moving those toes towards the head. And if you'd like to intensify that shoulder stretch, you can bend into the right elbow. Just savor these moments. And wherever you're at, releasing the leg down maybe, or just rolling back towards center onto the belly. Bring the hands directly under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and then press into the hands, straightening the elbows, coming onto your knees, and then shift your hips back onto your heels here for child's pose. Arms stay directly out in front of you. Crown of the head or the third eye can make its way down towards the earth. Just feel the opening of the vertebrae. Feel each space being created. Send your inhales deep into those spaces. And on exhale, just allow yourself to sink in towards the earth a little bit more. Inhale, create a little more space in those vertebrae. And exhale, just sink down, allowing gravity to take you further. Walking your hands all the way back up. If you feel like you need to stay in child's pose a little bit longer, please do so. Or take savasana. Now is a good time to just allow yourself to savor all the space that we created in our upper bodies and in our hips here. A nice, short, sweet practice for when you need some release, when you need to create more space and a little bit more openness for your whole day. Thank you. Namaste.